Hey folks, what's here? Welcome back to another Poem Masters video, and sorry about the first upload. I forgot to turn up my audio card. I forgot to turn on my audio card for the last upload, so let's do this again. So anyways, today we're gonna go ahead and check out what potential banner unit could be the unit that drops with Palkia's Legendary Event, because if you guys remember, every single legendary event has had a banner unit, a new banner drop with them that is generally super effective against them. Not only super effective, but also, very helpful in against the event. So, for example, Mewtwo, we had Grimsley, which was Dark type, which Mewtwo was weak to, which also, had Snatch to seal all of Mewtwo's stats, which Mewtwo had like a huge, insane buff, right? So Grimsley was the one for Mewtwo. For Solgaleo, we got Garchomp, which at the time before Garchomp only viable, or not only viable, our only ground type striker was Mudsdale, which is kind of doo-doo. And Garchomp was obviously so much better. So there was that. And then during our third legendary event, we had Rayquaza, which dropped Kukui, which was very helpful there as well, because Rayquaza was weak to Rock, and then Kukui also lowered the Rayquaza's defenses, since Rayquaza had a crit shield, so a lot of crits can't go through. So to ramp up damage, you had to lower their defenses, which made sense. And then for a Ho, we got Wild type Milotic, which is water type, super effective against it, even though Milotic doesn't really do too much in terms of countering Ho. But Milotic during the time was the best water type striker. Well, it's not Striker's tech, but was best water type damage dealing unit in the game, since Mega Sharpedo wasn't out yet, right? So yeah, let's just go into and see what units could potentially drop with Palkia's banner. And yeah, let's go into this. And so first of all, we have to obviously check its weaknesses, and it's just two real weaknesses, which is Dragon and Fairy. But Masters, sometimes, there's just one occasion where they actually had like a non-weakness for a Pokemon, which is Berry's Empoleon, right? Empoleon's weak to grass, even though Empoleon's not actually weak to grass, because it's water steals resistance grass, so it's supposed to be neutral to grass. But they made it weak to grass anyways, probably because it started out as Piplup, but Piplup was like weak to grass, because Piplup's actually weak to grass. But then after, you evolve it, it gains the Steel type, and then makes it resistant to grass, which then makes it neutral to grass. So that's why probably Empoleon's weak to grass. But that one, there's just one outlier, right? So I guess there is it could be possible that it would be weak to grass, electric, or ice, I guess, but it's just very unlikely. So we're just gonna look at the Dragon and Fairy weaknesses today. So as for Dragon and Fairy trainers, let's go into them. So first one, the first, I guess, major Dragon type trainer that's not really in the game yet would be Drayden, right? The Open Lucid City Gym Leader, and I almost said black and white, but not in white, it's only black, right? So there's that. As for his units, I would say Haxorus, if only Haxorus wasn't already taken by Iris. So probably not gonna be Haxorus, since Iris already has Haxorus, right? But if it's not Haxorus, then like looking at his other units, I guess it has Flygon, has Drayden, and then in the World Tournament got like more units to play around with: Salamence, Hydreigon, Altaria, right? But if we're obviously leaders, they could definitely get World Tournament units, right? Look at Morty. Morty got Drifblim, so I guess anything's kind of possible. But if we were going by like likelihood, it's probably most likely that he'd get Drayden. It just makes most sense, I guess. Could he also get Flygon? I guess that's also possible. But I would argue there probably would be better unit or better trainers to actually have Flygon, maybe like Hugh or the guy in Oras, the secret base guy, I guess. I don't know, but anyways, I guess Drayden's probably, if I were to guess, it's probably the most likely. Salamence, Drake has Hydreigon. I guess he could also get Hydreigon, but it just seems like Ghetsis getting Hydreigon might make more sense. Unless they want to give Ghetsis Kyurem, then I guess, sure, you could give Drayden a Hydreigon, maybe. That's for Altaria. It's probably going to be for Wallace's niece. I know her name, I just can't pronounce it. Lizzie, Elysia? I don't know, something like that. But what I'm talking about. But yeah, Drayden probably the most likely for him. As for Drayden's moveset, it's oops. that's the PNG. There really isn't much that we could really deal with here. Like, it's a dragon type, right? And like we basically have all the dragon types like covered, like all the dragon type, like major dragon type moves. Like we have Kingdra with Draco Meteor, and then Iris with Outrage, which, you know, it's a top tier striker, right? Iris, and Claire's still really good as well. So like if we do get Drayden, like what the heck is he gonna do? Unless it's not a striker, unless it's like a tech, like, and do keep in mind, like 3 out of the 4 units so far for the legendary events have been techs. Grimsley's attack, Wallace's attack, Kukui's attack. The only non-tech is Cynthia, which is a striker, right? So there's that as well. But yeah, like unless they're gonna make him like a special Drayden, but like his special attack is doo-doo. It's like half his attack with like Dragon Pulse, which we don't have Dragon Pulse user yet, which hopefully Palkia would have. Maybe that would be nice. I don't know. But they might make like Dragon Pulse really bad as well. I mean, like look at like Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is like terrible in this game, right? Dragon Pulse is only like 5 damage higher. So who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I guess Drayden is a possibility for Drayden. But anyways, moving on to some other Dragon type trainers. Drasna from X and Y, the Elite Four, X and Y Elite Four. Another Dragon type trainer that also could be possible in this scenario. As for a Pokemon, like all the Elite Four so far have used, well, non-Signisuit Elite Fours, because Steven has a lone Summer Steven has a lone Sandslash, but all non-Signisuit Elite Fours so far have had a Pokemon that is their type that they specialize in, and is also from their region, right? So, if we're following that pattern, then Drasna is probably going to get either Dragalge or Noivern are probably the two most. Does she have? She doesn't even have anything else at all, right? Yeah, she doesn't have anything else. But yeah, those are probably the two most likely candidates here. I personally would like to see Dragalge. I just think Dragalge kind of fits her more, but I mean, Noivern is like kind of starter race. I mean, it's the highest level on the team. Everyone else is what, 63, and then like Noivern 65, I guess. So there's that. But I just think Dragalge fits her a bit more. But they could also, you know, just because we're gonna make Dragalge a poison type and not dragon type, they're not gonna give it Drasna, and then they'll like, you know, give it her Noivern as well, which I'm fine with. You know, Noivern's cool as well. But if they do give her Dragalge, they might make Dragalge like attack or something. Noivern could also be attack or support, honestly. Doesn't like Noivern have like Tailwind or something? Anyways, but yeah, I mean, anything's possible, I guess, in this scenario. In between both, like none of them are like primary, like dragon type, right? But again, they could just take whatever type they want from it and just run with it. But yeah, they could definitely make a dragon type Dragalge or dragon type Noivern. So both these are possible. I think Noivern's possibility is slightly higher, but Dragalge is definitely possible as well, I guess. So there's that. Anyways, moving on to the other type, and like here's the thing about, actually before we move on, here's the thing about like dragon types, is that we have enough dragon types already in the game. Like Haxorus is top tier, right? Again, Claire is still really good. Lance is still good, right? And then Rayquaza is pretty bad, but it's still something, right? Plus, you know, we're getting Palkia as well, which could also potentially be dragon type, have dragon type moves and all that. So that's like my thing with dragon types. And also, speaking of Lance, we could also get the Lance rerun, right? Lance rerun with grid is also possible. Like, man, if Lance gets a grid, like in this day and age, like the reason why Lance wasn't as good back then is because the meta was co-op, right? And, you know, that's why a lot of other units, like, that's why, you know, Olivia was really good back then. That's why Mewtwo was really good. And now the meta completely changed, right? So, like, Lance is actually really, really good right now, even without a grid. But if Lance gets a grid, oh my goodness, right? So, yeah, again, they could also rerun Lance with a grid. I think that's also a possibility. There's no precedent for that, but I guess, again, it is possible, right? Plus, you know, we are getting close to like that. If we are getting new story chapters, we should be battling Lance in the story as well, soon enough. So that could also be a reason for them to rerun Lance. There's multiple reasons, plus the Hyper Beam medal, right? For folks who didn't get Lance, I mean, you can still get the Hyper Beam medal. It's just like a bit more difficult and stuff. What are they playing down there? Oh, Sword and Shield. Anyways, moving on to some fairy types. First one I want to talk about is Diantha. That I don't think is very possible. The likelihood's really low for Diantha in my opinion. It's just that like, and by the way, for those who don't, Diantha is getting Mega Gardevoir. That's already confirmed. It's on the title screen. Every time you open up the game, you see Diantha with their Mega Gardevoir there. But it's just that I don't think they're just gonna give us a new Pokefair right before the anniversary. And I mean, well, they could if they want to bait or gems or whatever, but it's also like I just don't think they want to shoot all their or play all their cards at once, because that might be a bit too much, right? I do think they kind of want to save some of these characters, some of these bigger characters like Diantha for later, because if they just throw everything out right now, what are they gonna do 2 months later, right? 2 months from now where there's no content or whatever. And there's just way too much stuff happening next month for them to go with a completely new Pokefair right before the anniversary. And this is, we are riding on the assumption that the anniversary is, Singsu Blue and Leaf, which I do think is a very high possibility, right? Although there is a slight possibility that it's not, I guess, but I do think it's probably going to be them. Although there is the other theory going around that, Diantha's going to be the 1 year anniversary unit. I like Diantha. I don't think she's going to be as popular as Singsu Blue and Leaf. Plus, Singsu Blue and Leaf makes more sense because the 1 year anniversary of this game is also the 1 year anniversary of Blue's banner dropping in the game, right? So that just makes more sense that way as well. Plus, they teased it in the trailer 5 months ago or whatever, right? So there's also that. But is there still a possibility for Diantha to come out, for the Palkia Legendary Event? Yes, there's still a possibility. Again, I just don't think it's as high as any of these other units, per se. And moving on to some more high likelihood units, the one I think that probably has the highest likelihood is probably Lillie, right? Lillie, we already saw in the 6-month anniversary trailer that she's probably going to come sometime in the future with Clefairy, so that's already confirmed, right? And the other thing that that does make me think Lillie is probably more likely is because in this trailer, all the other trainers Dawn and Wally, they're already out, and it does seem like they might want to get all 3 of these out before the anniversary when they actually drop again, potentially Singsu, Leaf, and Blue, right? So that's another, I guess, reason that why they could drop Lillie during the Palkia event, right? So I guess that's another possibility. As for probably another reason to drop her, because she's a Alolan, and then they're kind of going with this Alolan theme for next month because it's summer and all that stuff, with Steven having Alolan Sandslash and all that. So that maybe it could be a small consideration, although I don't think they generally really do consider this stuff. They didn't even release May in May, so but anyways, Lillie I do think is a high possibility. As for Clefairy itself, it could be a striker, it could be attack, it could be a support, it could be anything, right? A lot of people are kind of speculating it might be either attack or support, because that makes more sense because it's Clefairy, but it could still be a striker for the sole reason because we really desperately need a fairy type striker. So we might get that, I guess, as a striker. I mean, I'd love for it to be a striker. Come on, we need a fairy type striker, please, game, come on. But yeah, again, it could also still be attack or support. Like I mentioned before, most of these banners so far have been techs, right, with Grimsley, Kukui, and Wallace. So there's no guarantee it's going to be striker. Plus, it doesn't have to be a striker to be very effective against the legendary event, right? As exemplified with, again, Grimsley, Wallace, and Kukui, right? So Lillie, again, another possibility, which in my opinion is probably the highest likelihood of happening. And as for one more option that we could talk about, and I don't have a page open, it's probably the other summer unit, right, alongside Steven. And again, we are riding on a lot of assumptions here. This is assuming the other unit is going to be Summer Cynthia, and we're also assuming that if it is Summer Cynthia, then it might have Alolan Ninetales, which again, just the reason why it's Alolan Ninetales is just to mirror Steven's Alolan Sandslash, sorta, right? And plus it's fairy type, so we could get like potentially Alolan Ninetales as a fairy type, and I think the Alolan Ninetales might fit the striker bill a bit more than I guess Clefairy, so it could be potentially a striker against the Palkia event, but it could also be a tech support. Again, who knows, right? Like Drayden could be a support. Salamence is a support in this game, so I don't think their main Alexander is a support, right? I don't think their main usage in the main games really has anything to do with if they're a striker support or whatever in this game. So again, but do keep in mind this, like the probability of it being like swimsuit Cynthia with Alolan Ninetales is like layers upon layers of assumptions. And again, we're also assuming that these things to Leaf and Blue are going to come during the anniversary. So yeah, again, lots of assumptions. It's so take all that with a grain of salt. So plus, like, they already had like Cynthia as a banner unit before against Solgaleo or Solgaleo, so it'd be kind of weird if they like run Cynthia, another version of Cynthia for this legendary event against Palkia. So there's that as well. So well, anyways, that's for this one, I guess. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, sorry for my first upload, that kind of screwed up. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like and enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I will be streaming a 20k sub special Q&A later today, so tune in for that. That should be fun. You guys can ask me whatever, and I'll be doing other stuff, probably playing Masters while we're at it. And yeah, I'll see you guys later today then.